Welcome back to the Crochet Chronicles, my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Another free pattern for you today called the Little Boy Blue Blanket. Now just because it's called that doesn't mean that this is for boys. It just happens to be the sample that Jeannie created when she did this. This was actually developed in November of 2017, and since then we've had a few revisions along the way, and we've also learned a lot of new techniques since. So it's now February 2021, so we just now updated this pattern to just recheck the math just to fix it up a little bit, and we've also provided some crochet diagrams that can assist. Now this is Jeannie's second most popular pattern of them all. The first one here is this one here, and that is the Hugs and Kisses original concept. And so this is the same thing but actually done as a straight line, so it actually is kind of fun, and also there's a fun little border that's been added to it as well. So this is something that you can do. Now since then, at this time of doing this 2017, you know, Caron cakes, Caron big cakes, and all of those were like huge in popularity, so that's what really inspired this. So this was done with Caron baby cakes. So what I decided to do is take a look at this because it's been so many years now that people are using a Jeannie stitch concept together in order to change the color to have a little more fun with it. So this is what we have here. If you would like to change the size of this particular blanket, it's in multiples of 6 plus 4. So you go 6, 6, 6, and when you're happy with the length of the chain just add 4 and you'll have the balance. The border is then adjustable as well, and we'll be talking about that when we get to there. So I'm gonna show you this sample first, and then we're gonna continue to talk. So I've seen people online do this particular concept where they actually strategize the colors. So I've also indicated that on the particular pattern itself to what rows we're changing to which in order to keep it to have some fun. So all the double crochet rows, straight double crochet, were one color, and then the crisscross colors I made them the soft pink every time it appeared. The single crochets here are the same color, but there's a single crochet and then the 5 together double crochet and the single crochet, which I've kept it all being the same. So it's actually kind of strategy, and then the border I just kind of randomized it and made a little bit of fun with it. So here's what the back looks like. Left and a tail there for your enjoyment today, so I'll get rid of that while I'm chatting with you. So you can see that the back stays relatively flat, so even though there's a bit of texture on the front side, it's not textured on the back. So let's continue to go back to the pattern now. So on the second page you're going to notice that the instructions start here. So it's chain 118 or do your multiples of 6 plus 4 if you want to change the size of this. This particular blanket is relatively small. It's a 5mm size H, and it was only 32 inches by 39 inches long. So if you would like to change that, that is your denomination. How much more yarn you're gonna need is basically up to you at this point. So because we've not done it that big, we don't have that answer. So we're going to then progress from rows number 1 all the way to 9, and then you keep repeating 2 through 9 over and over and over until you're satisfied. In this case there's up to 81 rows that will be completed by the time you get there for the baby version. Again, you just keep going and then make sure the last row is number 9 before you finish off. We're then going to jump to the border, which I will talk to you in more detail. I don't want to flood you with that much information, but let's just flip on over to the next page, well, next 2 pages. So since 2017 I never knew how to do this stuff on computer, so I've been teaching myself. In 2020 it was my goal to finally learn how to do this. Yesterday I had a breakthrough, if you can imagine, on how to do these. So I'm learning more and more as time progresses along. So I've been working my way and writing a little manual for myself on how to do all this. So I'm not gonna share on how I do that with you today, but this is now available to you. So what we're going to start is you'll see that it's in multiples of 6 and then this plus 4. So you see 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and the last 4 have you the balance so that you can continue to go. So the repeating of the rows is 2 through 9 that we have, and then I just put it in twice just because I just did a copy and paste so that you could see that it was gonna overlayer itself. So it gives you an indication of what it looks like. So if you're not familiar with diagrams, what you're looking at is basically the outline of the pattern without the color. Essentially all the instructions for what the symbols mean are right here, so you'll see that, and then once we get that done, then it's really quite fun. So the very last page, I know, dun, 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 it is the actual border itself. Do not let this scare you. The border is relatively simple. There is 7 rounds in order to do that, and I'm gonna show you some cheating techniques. The top and the bottom border edge will be perfectly in line, and I'm gonna show you how you can cheat the system going down the sides in order to have that balance, so this will all stay in line for you. Okay, so a 5mm size H crochet hook. I am going to be using Caron 1 pound today on camera with the 5.5mm. Again, if you are going to change your hook size, make sure it complements the yarn. And without further ado, we're gonna get started on this sample. So let's get started. You can either chain 118 or you can do your multiples of 6 and then 6 6 6 and then add 4 at the very end of the chain, which is what I'm about to do. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. Is it long enough? Yes or no. If it's not, make it even longer, and you can put it up against something if you would like to match it to a particular size as well. So 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then I'll do it one more time. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, and when I'm happy with the length of it, which it would obviously have to be bigger, you would have to just add 4. So 1 2 3 and 4. So that's your beginning chain, and just put me on pause now and we'll progress in row number 1 in just a moment. So let's not overcomplicate you here. We're gonna go 4th chain from the hook, so count it back. So 1 2 3 and 4, and I want you to turn it around and get the back hump of the chain, and it's the 4th one away, and you are going to double crochet, and I want you to double crochet in each one of the chains all the way back. Now if you're following the pattern exactly as Jeannie left you that information, it's 116 double crochets, and if you're customizing, I wouldn't worry about it so much as long as your chains are in the right denomination of your multiples. So continue to do this all the way. This is row number 1. So once you get all the way to the other side, just turn it around and let's begin row number 2. So 2 to 9 is the whole repeat of this whole pattern up until we get to the border. So to do number 2, so just chain up 1 and just apply 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way across right to the very last area, and I'll see you there in just a moment. So row number 2, 1 single crochet across. So coming all the way across, don't forget that chain here is a stitch itself, so don't forget that one. A lot of people miss that, and so then you end up with the triangle blanket. So turn your work and let's begin row number 3. Row number 3, we're going to start our crisscross, but the very first one and the last one are just a double crochet. So the first one we're just gonna chain 3, which will count as a double crochet, and then we're going to skip the next one and go to the second over, and we're going to double crochet into that. Then you're gonna come back to the stitch here. So I would lean it forward. It doesn't matter which way you go, but I would lean it forward like this and grab this stitch that you skipped that way. I find it's a lot faster and easier than going and grabbing that stitch from the front side. Again, your call. So then once that crisscross is done, you skip the next one and go to the second over, double crochet, and then lean it forward and grab the stitch that you missed. And so this is causing it to crisscross applesauce. So just skip the next one, double crochet in that one, and then go to the one you skipped. Please do this all the way across. This is a crisscross. This is row number 3. Okay, if your stitch count is right within the multiples, even that chaining of 118 that you did, when you crisscross you should have 1 stitch left over, and that'll be the last double crochet in. Okay. If for example you don't see that, I would slam in another double crochet in the end of this one and try to balance it if you can, but hopefully you've got it right. So this is what it looks like. We're gonna turn to work and do row number 4. Row number 4 is the same as row number 2. Just chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each, and this helps stabilize the crisscross to be more balanced and looks more even. So just single crochet all the way across then for row number 4. Coming up to the end of number 4, don't forget that turning chain. That's also a stitch, and if you forget it then you'll be sorry. Okay, so let's turn our work and do number 5, and number 5 is going to be the bobble work that is actually 5 together double crochet. So let's start 5. We're going to chain 2. That will not count as a stitch, so don't count it. So the first 2 out here, they're each going to be a half double crochet. So the first 2 are halves, and now the next one is a 5 together double crochet. So just wrap the hook and going into the stitch, pull through 2 and hold it. You'll do that again and again, again and again. You should see a total count of 6 loops on the hook once you have them all done. So you've done it 5 times. The first one is the first stitch that you started with. So pull through all of that, and when that does it, it's gonna pucker. So the other side here is going to be officially the right side, and you'll see that's very obvious. So once you have that done, just you're going to half double crochet in the next 2 stitches available to you, and that's gonna force it to sit down and squat, which will continue to pop out the back, and you'll see that happening on the back side. Okay, so once those two are done, you're gonna do it again. So let's do a 5 together double crochet. You're lucky it's not a popcorn because those take a long time. Okay, so then you got your 6 loops, pull through all of them, and then half double crochet in the next 2, and that will force that one to squat as well. So what I want you to do is continue the same idea. So 5 together double crochet, 2 halves, 5 together double crochet, and 2 halves, and please do that all the way down your line, and I'll see you at the end of this line in just a moment. I'm coming up to the end of row number 5. There should be 2 half double crochets left after the final 5 together double crochet to take you to the edge. And look at that texture, that's stunning. Very nice. Let's begin row number 6. It's a single crochet row. Row number 6, you're just gonna chain up 1. Just kind of pull it back so you can see all the stitch work. So you see 1, 2, there. You see it all? It's just sitting on right on the top. So I've already chained 1. So you're just gonna single crochet in each of the stitch work going across. This here, even though it looks like it's not supposed to be, it's part of it, so don't skip it. So everything that you see is a single crochet going across. Okay, and this will stabilize those bobbles to be popping up, and that's just something that is going to be amazing. So just single crochet all the way across row number 6. So coming out to the end of row number 6, and that's it. So I want you to visualize that these bobbles are the center points. So you have like the single crochet, the bobble with just a 5 together double crochet, and then a single crochet, and this is the very center. So pretend it's a mirror. So if you've just done a single crochet, this is what's next. It is the crisscross again. So row number 7, like it was before, just chain up 3. There's your first double, skipping the first one there and this one. Go to the second one, sorry, and then double crochet, and then just get the one you skipped over. So we've already done it before, so I don't really have to show you much detail, but just skip the next one, double crochet in the next, and then get the one you skipped with the double crochet. Please do that all the way across. This is row number 7. Coming to the end of row number 7, there's 1 stitch left, which will be then a double crochet that's by itself. So turn your work. Okay, and now let's do row number 8. Just chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, and that again holds that crisscross in place so that it has a really nice stitch definition. This is row number 8, and we just have one more row to go for the repeat. Okay, row number 8, don't forget that turning chain is a stitch as well, so don't miss it or you'll be missing a stitch later, and it's awesome. And then row number 9 is the final row of the repeat. Just chain up 3, that is your first double crochet. Come immediately to the next one and then double crochet just each across. So this will then conclude the actual stitch texture of Hugs and Kisses that Jeannie has developed, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna recap this in just a moment when we get to the other side. So I'm coming up to the end of row number 9, and then this is the sequence. So all the way 1 through 9 has now been completed. Now all you just need to do is go back to row number 2, which is the single crochet row again, and go 2 through 9, 2 through 9, and you will do this until you have 81 rows. If you're doing any other size, just go as long as you want to. As long as you finish with the double crochet row here, you'll always have the balance. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one more stitch repeat off camera so that I have something more to work with to demonstrate the border for you. So you can just put me on pause now, or just go back to row number 2 and then just continue to cycle through this. So cycle through 2 through 9, and then maybe back here when you're ready for the border, and I'll be right back in just a second. So I just finished up from 2 through 9 one more time, and now I'm gonna go on for the border. So you're gonna do it when you're ready. If you're going to keep the same color, you don't have to fasten off, but if you are going to use a different color, then you will want to fasten off before going for the next step. But right where we're sitting is exactly where you want to be then to start the border, and if you're not changing color, then don't fasten off. Let's go back to the diagram and let's talk a little bit about that, because it's actually not a hard one, but what we want to do is strategize the top edge and the bottom, and then figure out what we're going to do with the sides, and it's really not that hard. So I'm gonna explain it as easy as I can. So as we begin to do the border, then what we have to think about is that the top and the bottom rows, they should actually be in line with each other. So in actual fact everything is in groups of 4. Do you see this? 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. It's a nice easy repeat in order to make that happen. So the very first stitch is on its own and the very last stitch is on its own, and you're gonna want to put 3 single crochets in each. So if you're starting at this point, you can either just chain up 1 and put 2 single crochets in the first one and then start, and then you can just go 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. The goal is to make sure that you hit this 4th one before you hit this this corner. So if you're gonna improvise or something is wrong, make sure that you get to your 4th one. So maybe you have to put 2 into the same stitch in order to get that to happen. So that's something that you can work out for yourself. Now because we know that it's in groups of 4, when we go to turn and go down the side, we're gonna work evenly, and once you get the 3 in there, which is gonna be into the stitch, you do the same thing. So that 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and keep on doing that, equally spacing all the way down to the next corner. Again, finish the 4th one just before you do the very last stitch to make that corner. That should keep you in balance, and if you're spacing it out right, then the blanket should be sitting flat and both sides should be relatively equal. If one side has an extra set of 4, you may not notice it, but just keep an eye on that if you want to make sure. So then once you turn the corner, then you'll be on the bottom, and again you're in your 4s, and then you're gonna turn and then come up this edge, and again keep 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and the one just before the last one here should be right here. It should be the 4th one. Again, just equally space it so that that is the 4th one, so that you can keep the balance. The rest of these, once that's established, is just a matter of following the pattern as is, and then you're going to notice, because we are working with this crisscross, which is a set of 3, you're going to notice is that one side of this has an extra stitch versus the other side. That's just the nature of the beast with this particular one. So if you see that's happening, and also you can also fake it too, just in case you go somewhere wrong too. So there's lots of opportunities in Jeannie's pattern here to be able to fake it or make it, and that's basically what she would say to you. So let's begin our first round, and this is the first one, round number 1. So if you're gonna fasten off, you're going to join it to the top of the first one here, and if you're not, and just keeping it going with the same color, just continue along. So chain up 1, and then just as per the diagram, just put 2 single crochets into this one. We need to put another one in there when we come back around at the very last one. So what I would do if I were you is just starting in the next one and just start counting in 4s. So 1 2 3 and 4, and then do it again. So 1 2 3 and 4, and continue that. So 1 2 3 and 4, and 1 2 3 4, and then 1 2 3 and 4, and then coming up, and I told you that the top will work out and the bottom will as well. So 1 2 3 and 4, and this should take you approximately to the one just before the edge. If it doesn't and you're one short, then just put like for example, let's just say that I was coming up and this here is going to be the 4th one and you have 3 left over, then what I would do is just put 2 into the same one somewhere and then continue along. So 1 2 3 and 4, and then you can fake that, and it's really hardly noticeable once you get moving on this thing. So that's what I would do if I were you, and then get to the very edge. So when on the very edge here, you're gonna put 3 single crochets. So 1 2 3. Now you're gonna work down the side, and when you work down the side, don't go around a gapping space, always go into a chain spot and start going in and counting to 4 again. So 1, and move along, and 2 3 and 4, and make sure that it looks like it's still sitting flat. So I've been doing this a long time, so I make it look easy. So try go again. So 1 2 3 3 is next, and 4, and continue along. So 1 2 3 and 4. So if it's bunching like this, it means that you're going too quickly, and if you're getting a really significant ruffle, it means you're going too slow. So let's keep counting. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, and continuing along. So I want to get 4 before the edge, so I want to say 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And now the top of this stitch is going to be the turn. So do you see what I'm saying? I just want to count these in groups of 4. So the 3 single crochets would be at that one, and so we're on the underside of this. So if you worked on the back loop like I told you, the stitches are really quite easy. So you just say 1, 2, 3 and 4. So continue in that same motion. This should all look pretty flat by the time you get all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this rotation in just a few seconds. So since I'm coming up all the way around, I'm doing my final fourths. So that was 1, 2, and I just gotta squeeze it in. 3 and 4 is going in, and then on the very same one that you started with, just put in your 1 single crochet and then join it to the first single crochet that you started with. So that should be relatively easy to do, and you can see it's relatively flat, and now the rest of it is pretty much just following the pattern nicely. Let's begin round number 2. Round number 2 and 3 are basically the same. You're going to just chain up 1, and right where you're sitting I would need you to put in 2 single crochets to maintain the corner. You're gonna finish this round with a single crochet in the same one and then join it to the beginning. So you're just gonna slam in single crochets into each stitch going all the way around, except for the middle ones of the corners. The middle ones will have 3 single crochets in each, so it can turn. So you're gonna go all the way around and meet me back here in just a moment. So just watch those corners and continue to single crochet all the way around. This is round number 2. Once you get all the way back around, remember where we started, and we're just going to make sure that we slam in an extra single crochet to where you were, and then just join it. I want you to do one more round of that same thing, so just join it. So chain up 1 and then 2 single crochets in the first one, and then keep on going around, single crochet in each of the corners. Again, the middle one of the grouping of 3 single crochets, and you'll do that all the way around, and you'll slam in 1 extra one in the beginning when we get back around, and this will be round number 3. So continue this, and I'll see you in next one, and we're gonna have some fun starting in round number 4. So once you come all the way back around, don't forget to slam in that extra single crochet that you need for the corner, and then just slip stitch it. And let's go back to the diagram now. It's actually looking really cool. So you know, you can stop at any time if you like this look. This looks awesome, but we are going to add some more texture then starting in round number 4, which will be next, and I'll show you some cheating techniques too. So as we start round number 4, we're going to just then chain up 1 and put 2 single crochets in the first one. So then you're gonna put 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets in a row. Looking where you are, just follow it straight on down, and you're going to then just count 2 over. Okay, so just follow it straight down and then just go over, and this is gonna be a front post treble in here. You're going to chain 1 and then come and do a front post treble, then 2 back. So then you have the space here. Once that's done, you're going to single crochet here. So this section here counts as 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. So this is gonna sit in front of these 3 single crochets, and the reason why this is grayed out is that this one here comes to the middle one of the grouping of 3 in the future. So this will sit in behind it. So it's not going over, so this will eventually just be resting on top. Once you get this next one in, again you're going to then just front post treble over here, and then chain 1 and front post treble back. So you will notice that you'll have a single crochets that separate these. So once you get your first one in, it's just a matter of following it in line. So if you're gonna cheat in any way, just look for that as just a key marker, and just remember that this contraption here covers in front of the 3 stitches that you're in. So we're going to continue this, and then at the very end, once you have your last one in, I would just single crochet yourself right to the end. So there should be about 3 left over, but if there's not, if there's 4, just put in the 4th one. It's up to you, and you can easily maintain that, and that's what we're gonna do. Once you turn the corner, it's the same idea going around. So you'll have 3 in here. There's only 2 here, but you're gonna put 3, And you're going to continue along and just look to what you saw here. So remember that it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then begin the crisscross once again. Let's do round number 4. Let's begin round number 4. Chain up 1 and put 2 single crochets in the same beginning one, and then there's going to be 4 single crochets in a row. So starting in the next one, let's count together. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we're ready to do that crisscross stuff. So what we want to do is that the next one here, we're going to count down 1 and 2. It's only 2 rows, so this is 1 row, 2 row. This is my second time filming. I went down to the 3rd row. Again, if you're going to be wrong, just always be wrong in the same way, then it never looks wrong. So that's just something, so because it's a tutorial and I caught myself, I'm just re-recording this. So go 1 and 2 and then count from there 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's where you're going to put your first front post treble. I think I actually did this wrong on my sample. So once you have that in, you're going to then just chain 1 and from there count 1 and 2. So the next empty one and the next one, which is straight on down, and that's going to be your next front post treble. So just going around the single crochet post, and there is your crisscross there. So peeling this back, you should have 3 empties. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one will be a single crochet to stabilize it. Okay, so now you're going to do the same thing. So here's the trick. Right where this last one is, count over to the 4th empty one. So starting in the next one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So reach on over to the 4th one, do a front post treble, chain 1, and then just count 2 back. So starting in the next one empty and this one, and then that's where the next front post treble is. And then peeling it back, so 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. And you're gonna do that all the way across. So there's 1 single crochet that is separating these crisscrosses out, if you can see that. Okay, so continue in the same motion all the way. So right where the last one is, so 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. And what I'll do is I'll see you close to the corner and we'll just review that, and then we'll turn and make your wishes come true. Okay, so just get your crisscrossing done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, go to the 4th, and etc. And I'll see you close to the first corner. So my last crisscross is in it, and is according to my last crisscross is in, so I'm just gonna peel it back. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th. So this one then plus the next 2 are the amount of stitches that are on their own before you hit a corner. If you have an extra stitch, just put in a single crochet. Nobody's caring at this point. Just be able to fake your way in order to do it, and then once you're verified that you are in the corner, just put your 3 single crochets in so you can turn. Okay, so it's a great way to be able to improvise if you have to. Don't think that we don't do that behind the scenes. So to start a new side, it's just like this side. So just go 4 empty, so 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now you're gonna start the crisscross. So 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's where your first one is. Chain 1, and then the next one is 2 back. So the corners are all the same for all of this stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is, or 1, 2, 3 is empty. The 4th one has a single crochet, and then continue that same motion. So right for this last one's in. So 1, 2, 3, go to the 4th, chain 1, and then go 2 back. And again, verify that you have the single crochets that separate these as an empty one right there. Please do this all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. This is round number 4. So we're just coming up all the way around then on round number 4. I'm putting my 3 last that are by itself, and then remember there's 1 to go into the beginning where we had started our journey, and just slip stitch. So 1's in there and slip stitch to conclude that. So you have your 3 there. So the texture is now in. It looks fun and fabulous. We're moving on to round number 5, whether you like it or not. Let's move on to round number 5 next. So in round number 5 we're going to start in the corner. Again, put your 2 into the same one, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this doesn't work out, do you see this? These contraptions, so the front post trebles and this chain 1 is not used at all. And what you're going to do is that you're just gonna peel this forward so that you can see this stitch behind. See where it's pointing? It's the middle one of the grouping of 3 that's empty. There's gonna be 3 double crochets there. the single crochet is gonna have a single crochet, and the next one just peel it forward. Again, it's the middle, and you're gonna do this. So you're only focusing putting those 3 double crochets in where the X's are, and once that last one's in, you just skip on over and do the 1 2 3 4 to the edge. So that's just a neat thing, right? So let's do round number 5 next. So let's do number 5. You're gonna chain up 1 and you'll put 2 single crochets in the first one. Now how many did we say? I think we said 5. So you can either count it. So 1 2 3 4 and 5. But if you're not sure, see the next one is the front post treble. You got the chain 1 and this. You're just gonna skip over that anyway. So just fill in the single crochets until you get to that. Now you're just gonna peel this forward and you're going to reveal those 3 empty stitches that you skipped over, if you remember, and we're gonna go to the middle one. And once you understand this, you're just gonna peel it forward and just double crochet so that this stays in behind, and you're gonna put 3 double crochets into the same stitch in the back. Okay, so this forces this to do something fun. Okay, so then you got a single crochet next. I don't even know why that was funny. So that you put the single in the single, and then you have another X. So just again peel it forward and go to the middle one there. Okay, and you're gonna put your 3 double crochets in there. Here's I'm gonna give you a little bit of a suggestion. So here's the single crochet. If you feel like this is going to be a catchy thing for babies, which I don't think it should be, but if you feel it is, what you can do is go in between the X. So just split them, get that middle one anyway, and what you can do is that will hold the X back as well, and you can, and it looks completely different, right? And then still single and the single. You can see it has a completely different look if you do it that way as well. So you have to decide what you're going to do. So you're going to do this all the way to the end, and after that you'll single crochet then to the corner, 3 in there, and then you'll start the next one. There should be about 5, and then you'll just do that all the way around. So this is round number 5. So please decide what you would like to do and continue your journey, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming up all the way around the end of this, and this is round number 5. So as we progress to round number 6, right where we are right now, remember these 5 together double crochets here, they pop out, right? But they pop out to the opposite side of the project. So if I crochet this now and not turn it and flip it over to the back, these things are going to be on the back side of the project. So what you have to do is turn the blanket over so you're looking at the back, and then begin this round. Now you're going to notice that when we start we're going to chain 2. It won't count as a stitch, but in the same one I would suggest that just putting in 3 half double crochets into the same one. Now we can either count and drive yourself batty, or you can look for the middle one of the 3 double crochets. The middle one is always gonna have these 5 double crochet togethers in them, and every stitch in between these is just gonna be a half double crochet. So continuing just a half double crochet until you get to the middle one of the 3 double crochet, which is next. So then you'll put your 5 together in there, so bring it together, and then keep half double crocheting until you get to the next middle one of the 3 double crochet. And technically there's only 3 half double crochets that separate those anyway, but if you just look for the middle one, you don't have to count as obsessively as you would need to, as you think you would need to, because you don't. So you're looking for the clues. So those only appear in the middle ones of those 3 double crochet. So getting that done, just immediately go to the next 3 in a row, half double crochet, and look for the next middle one of there. So you're gonna do that. So once you get to the last one, just half double crochet, and in the corners 3 half double crochet, then turn, and then to continue that same journey. And on the back side you're going to notice that these are jumping out, and they're jumping out just above the X's that you see. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 6. So now that I'm getting around on number 6, I've got my last one in. I'm just going to slip stitch it to the first half double crochet, and it doesn't say this in the pattern nor does it have it in the diagram, but I would slip stitch over one more to bring yourself back to the center, and then turn it over and look at the good side. You can see all the bobble, everything is in, and now this is your final side. So just your final edge, so just chain up one and put you might as well just put 3 single crochet in the first one if you want to, because you have to do it when you get back anyway. So then just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches except for the corners. The middle half double crochet is going to have 3 single crochets in them, and then everything else in between is just 1 single crochet. Please do this for the final round, number 7. So I'm coming into my very last one. I already put my 3 single crochets, but if you only did 2, make sure you put an extra single crochet in there. And let's conclude this off. So let's just do the fasten off technique. So just cut your yarn, and anytime you want to change your yarns, I keep demonstrating this all throughout the videos each and every time, because I just don't know if this is somebody's first video or not. Okay, so once you have that in, turn it over to the back side of the project and run it through the back side fibers. Don't go on the front side of the project, and just go through once. Pull it snug, but don't change the shape of the project. Go a slightly different path on the way back. And then a slightly different path again. And you want to do this anytime you're changing out your yarns or anything. It's a great technique. So when I used to do crochet, I used to just tie a knot, and there would be an ugly knot hanging out of my project all the time, and I never knew how to really get rid of it really effectively. That's a great way to do it. So let's just back you out and let's take a look at this. So this is just a solid sample. So don't underestimate solid samples versus a colored sample. And it's actually really neat. And this is how you would do the little boy blue blanket. This is the Hugs and Kisses by Jeannie, and until next time, on behalf of all of us here at the Crochet Craft, we hope you enjoy, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.